Hi guys, a number of big newspapers have come out in the last few days and endorsed the Labour Party ahead of the general election, some of which are owned by media tycoon and general horrible person Rupert Murdoch. Keir Starmer and his team will say that this is because the Labour Party have changed dramatically since the time of Jeremy Corbyn and is now pro-business. The papers could also be supporting Labour because the Tories have done so much damage to themselves with the likes of Liz Truss and Kwasi Kwarteng that they can't support them any longer. Either way, it doesn't look good for the Conservatives, and poor old James Cleverly was put out to face the media and try and spin all of this, but it didn't go well.
The Sunday Times, Rupert Murdoch paper, endorsed Labour over the weekend for the first time since 2005. So too have the Financial Times and the Economist. The Sunday Times said that Rishi Sunak has cut an embattled, almost cursed figure. The Conservative Party has lurched through a series of self-inflicted mishaps. The Conservatives have in effect forfeited the right to govern. That is damning, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't agree with it.
Of course you don't.
Of course I don't, so I don't know why you asked me. I mean, the point is we've got inflation down to 2%.
I'm asking you because in our culture, it is a significant moment, isn't it, when a big newspaper that's read by hundreds of thousands of people comes out and declares who it thinks should be the government, and they don't like you anymore.
And let me explain why I disagree with it. We have got inflation down to 2%. We have maintained low levels of unemployment. Wages are growing faster than prices now for many, many months. We have ensured that the economy, the UK economy, is growing faster than any other country in the GDP, in the G7. GDP is growing. GDP per capita is growing. So we have experienced over the last few years an unprecedented set of circumstances. COVID, Russia's brutal invasion of Ukraine. And despite that, we have made sure that we protected people through the furlough scheme, protected people through the energy price cap and fuel bill support.
These papers know all that, and they've got all the papers, they've got all the analysis, they've looked through all the numbers, and they don't think you're the right party to run the country anymore.
And I disagree with them. And the reason that this is so important is because Labour have already said they are going to gerrymander the system. They have said they're going to pack out the House of Lords. They've said they're going to get votes at 16. They're going to give votes for foreign nationals. They're probably going to give votes for criminals. They've not said that. They are determined to have a permanent Labour government, and they are quite willing to distort the British political system to get that.
Oh, God. So, he has nothing. He didn't actually respond to the point that the newspapers are supporting the Labour Party, supporting Keir Starmer. He couldn't answer that because he doesn't have anything to respond with. Apart from, we're bringing down inflation, we're growing the economy, unemployment is down. But this is not having an impact on ordinary people's lives. Now, I don't know whether the newspaper's endorsement of Labour will make that much of a difference. Yes, they are significant outlets, but I think we're so close to the election now that nothing is really going to make any difference unless it's something dramatic. But this is not something dramatic for ordinary people. So most people have already decided which way they're going to vote, and the newspapers endorsing Labour is good for Labour. It's bad for the Conservatives, but it's not really going to shift the needle either way. But his response to all of this, once again, is scaremongering. You know, Labour are going to pack the House of Lords. They're going to give the vote to 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds. They're going to allow criminals to vote. Okay, where's the evidence to support that? It's just scaremongering before the end. And then, of course, you know, blame failings on the pandemic, on the war in Ukraine. You know, I've said this before. If they actually had introduced policies to help people, ordinary people, instead of wasting so much political capital and money on the issue of immigration, they could have won back some support from the centre. Instead, they decided what we're going to do is we're going to chase Nigel Farage. But you can't compete with Farage for two reasons. One, he's more extreme. And second, he knows he's not going to be in power, so he can promise the sun, moon and stars. The same with Brexit. He made promises that he knew he would never have to keep. Somebody else would have to keep. And the Conservatives, for some reasons, still believe that their fortunes lie in chasing Nigel Farage instead of actually moving back to the centre where they can challenge Labour. And Labour is the real threat, not Nigel Farage. But we're just a few days from the election. These newspapers have endorsed the Labour Party, and the Conservatives have nothing left apart from a bit of scaremongering. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.